Call me when you need some, call me when you need some, call me when you need some love. Call me when you need some, call me when you need some, call me when you need some. Call me when you need some, call me when you need some, call me when you need some love. Call me when you need some love. My darling, my angel, my queen and my friend, my lover, my one. She's the beat in my heart. You're the kiss on my lips. My one and only. She is.
Hi guys, we have a bombshell sponsor. I would like to thank Cosy Island for sponsoring today's video. So guys, Cosy Island is a shoe brand and they provide extremely comfortable shoes. They sent over a selection of shoes and I made my selection. I chose a pair of 3 different mules, and guys, when I tell you, y'all, these shoes are so comfortable. When I first got the package, I tried the shoes on and I was like, you know what? I could literally run 1,000 miles in these shoes. The heel is not too high. So for all of my girlies who have gradually downgraded to a lower heel, these shoes are for you. So I selected my shoes in a 3.5 and then I selected one pair in a 3-inch. So guys, this is a 3-inch heel, and when I tell you these are so comfortable, another thing that I love about these shoes is that they have additional comfort in them. So they have cushion, and then they're made out of cloth, and because they are made out of this really soft cloth, they're durable, but they're also very versatile. So you can dress these up, you can wear them to the office on casual Friday. So guys, on most of their heels, they do have the flare bottom, and because it's a flare bottom, you're gonna be able to really walk around a lot more comfortably instead of having a heel that's a little bit thinner. Look at how soft and flexible the fabric is on the shoe. In addition to that, they have the grip sole. They also have an internal grip in the shoe, so when you are walking, you do not have to worry about the shoe slipping off. I also like the additional comfort around the sides and the back of the foot. So basically your heel will be extra protected. As you guys can see, the heel portion does lift up just a little bit, and that part keeps your foot firmly placed in the shoe but still extremely comfortable. Guys, these shoes are perfect for the office. They are perfect for just your casual weekend outings. I would consider these shoes more of a affordable luxury, so you get the versatility along with great style. Another thing that I like about the shoes, again, going back to the fabric, I like the fact that I don't have to worry about the weather. That's another thing, like, you know, you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, it's raining, and you know, those types of things, because of the high-tech fabric that they've used on the shoes. Because of the fabric, they keep your feet fresh and cool all day. I can go on and on and on but I do love the shoe because, again, it's just one simple thing that keeps you looking, you know, put together all day. Oh, by the way, guys, I did get my shoes in a size 9 and they fit perfectly. Only suggestion, guys, if you are going to order this particular pair, I would suggest that you go a half size up. I did get these in a size 9 and I wanted just a little bit more comfort, so I should have gone just at least got a 9.5 or maybe even a 10. You guys let me know if you have any intentions on purchasing your new comfortable stylish heels from Cosy Island. Again, I'll leave all of the details in the description box below. Once again, I would like to thank Cosy Island for sponsoring today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and on to the vlog. I'm just gonna be honest with you, the best managers I've ever had have been white men.
You think about the best manager that you've had, was it a man? I made a video talking about women being the worst managers, and everyone has been engaged, locked in, sharing their own feedback, and a lot of people have been saying that white male managers have been their best manager.
And it's just like, I don't know if it's because when you have a manager that is a white male, whether it be he's your age, younger or older, they either see that they don't see you as competition, so they want to help you. Or it could be the opposite of where they see so much more in you than you see in yourself. They want to help you. Guys, I know a lot of times, you know, when we look at the things that's going on with the political climate, and we know that a lot of people that are in charge, a lot of them are white males. But when I think about my experience in corporate America, and I think about the guys who, you know, the white men who've been my managers that played the game in the boardroom, they play the game. They play the game in socially. They play the game on the golf course. They play the game at the country club. But when they get you behind closed doors and it's one-on-one, they giving you the game. And it's like, it's a vast difference of the way that they show up in the corporate meetings and the way that they interact or whatever, versus how they are when those doors close and it's just you and him in those offices. Y'all, I done got put on so much game and been given so much money, and it's just like, I think sometimes the key is when people like you and when people respect you and when people can trust you, I think that they go a little bit more above and beyond. I've had so many situations where I've had white male managers that will give me, like, when I was getting ready to go work for ABB, I remember my manager calling me and he was like, what kind of phone do you want? And y'all, I remember picking out like the cheapest phone, just the basic phone. And he was just like, no, like, that's not enough data. So he was like, no, I'm going to order you the best of the best. So he ordered, I think the largest gigabyte you could have at the time was, girl, like 128. He ordered me the big boy, the 128 white iPhone, bells and whistles, everything. And he was just like, he's not the first white manager that told me this. Like, one thing that I would be told over and over again, it would be like in so many words, Rochelle, if you rolling with me, you gonna have what I have. And so he had a thing of like, you know, if I'm off on Fridays, you off on Fridays. And so he really looked out for me, and it was nothing that he had that I did not have. I've had other managers be like that as well. Anytime I worked in engineering, I had one manager, you know, like at the time I was a contractor for this engineering firm, and one of the girls in HR was like saying that I wasn't invited to the Christmas party, and it was a big deal, and my feelings were really hurt. Girl, y'all, my manager basically, you know, kind of went and told the girl, like, she's a part of this family. She, you know, she's invited, whatever, y'all. He sent a black card to come get I'm blushing. Girl, he sent a black card to come get me from my house and take me to the Christmas party, y'all. I felt so rich, but like, okay, so he sent me the black card, right? When he sent me the black card, he had the black card drop me off at Del Frisco's, girl. So we met at Del Frisco's, me, him, and his wife or whatever, girl. So we had us like a little drink and stuff or whatever for the Christmas party. Then we left, and then we walked over to the Christmas party, which was down to the Galleria, girl. I felt like so... it just made me feel like so happy, you know what I'm saying? And so I had another manager. He was an older white guy, and y'all, I remember him calling me into my office, and into his office, and he was just telling me, like, Rochelle, I believe that you can do any job that somebody puts you in front of. You can do any job or whatever. And then I remember him like showing me a catalog of Breitling, I want to say Breitling watches. And then he was basically saying, like, you know, when you get your bonus, the first thing y'all want you to invest in is a nice watch. Always wear a nice watch. And I remember him, and I had a nice watch, but it burnt up in a fire or whatever. I can go on and on about the instances in which I have gotten so many opportunities working with white men. And then it's like, then after ABB laid me off, I ended up working at another company after that, but it was mostly women. And it was like, working at ABB, how do you go from being in charge of 130 engineers, or no, at ABB I was in charge of I want to say 40 engineers. The company prior to that, I was in charge of 130 engineers. So how do you go from leading, as a black woman, 130 engineers, then you go on to a bigger corporation, you have a smaller range of engineers, but the jobs are more complicated. And then you do these big, so it's like the kind of work I did was so important and so impactful. Like, it really made a difference. These were not no bullshit jobs. But then you work and you made these huge contributions. You've gotten promoted, you've gotten the money, and then you go to a company where most of the management are women, and then they treat you like you can't spell your first name. To go from working in male-dominated environments, then you go to an environment where, granted, it's still male-dominated, but the management team that you deal with are all women. Now you're having issues. Now all of a sudden you're being reported, because I didn't work directly for Waste Management. I worked for them through an agency now. And it's like, why have I never had any issues in my professional career before? Never had any issues. Now all of a sudden I come over here and it's all of these issues. And so it's just, guys, women are not as easy to work for. Women are not as easy to work for. What I'm not going to do is be in a situation where I'm waking up every day and I'm dreading going somewhere and I'm miserable because it's some lady at work picking on me or nitpicking things simply because there's a personal issue there and it has nothing to do with my performance. All right, y'all, let's get down to business. I'm over here trying to get this hair together. I decided to go with the small one because it is super humid outside, and I'm noticing when I'm using the bigger curling one, the curls don't stay as long. So yeah, and then this is really like how the hair came when I first got it. So I just want to get it back to kind of, just like its original look or whatever. So yeah, we got that going on. If you have a wig like this or you want to do your hair like this, you just have to make sure that the pieces that you're curling are not too big or not too small, because if it's too small, your hair will come out looking frizzy. If the pieces are too big, the curls won't be tight enough. So, you gotta get the middle ground. So yeah, we got that going. And then I'm gonna need to call this, I don't know her name, but sis, if you out there and you watching and you the girl that paid $10,000, sis, I'm gonna need you to come to the front. I need you to come to the front of the congregation. Ma'am, you could have called me and paid me $2,000 and I could have gave you a whole dating session. Now, my dating sessions, they come with a life guarantee of possible heartbreak and a weight loss plan. And the reason why they come with that is because when you are out here dating, especially y'all, she found her man on Hinge. When you're out here dating, you roll the dice. You're rolling the dice. But if you roll the dice in the wrong way, the two things that will absolutely come out of that is, again, heartbreak and weight loss. So anyway, she paid this dating coach, guru, or whatever, $10,000 to find a man, and she ended up finding her man down to Hinge, girl. So sis went down to Hinge and she found her man and they're getting married. If you have the money to spend, okay, but it's a lot of things I would pay for, but I would not pay for a man. And then too, I was thinking like, well, if he's a dating coach, why would he guide her to Hinge? I'm just saying, like, if you're a dating coach, I would think that he had some type of elite selection of men and, an exclusive catalog, only for the upper echelon. She paid him $10,000. She went on Hinge and she found her man on Hinge. So I guess she's making videos about it. But I'm like, yeah, girl, you making videos about it because you're getting a return on your investment, because it's a lot of people, going to her video and talking about it or whatever. But like I said, it's like men are free. Girl, men are free. It's a lot of free men. Like, men don't cost. The way that Netflix has messed up Pop the Balloon, baby, I'm gonna need Netflix. I'm gonna need you to come to the front of the congregation. Girl, Netflix, you know you wrong for that. Y'all, the show is awful. The show is awful. Pop the Balloon, girl. I don't even think I got through like the first 10 minutes. I couldn't take it. I'm like, put it back. Netflix, put it back. Put it back. Release it back to its rightful owner. It is awful. So the one of the clips that I've been seeing that's been circulating online is Johnny Bananas, which was, I guess he's like some guy that used to be on MTV. Anyway, y'all, he was talking about if any of the girls would have been his type. He basically was looking at their feet. So he gets to one girl, and I guess he liked her feet, another girl, but then when he gets to the black girl, he said her feet look like she's been hanging upside down by a tree. As far as I'm concerned, that was a very, very, it had some undertones, if you know what I mean, and it was very unnecessary. I just didn't understand that. I didn't agree with that. I didn't think it was cute, and nor did I think it was funny. All right, so we have that. But then it's just like this watered down, commercialized version. It literally, y'all, it literally feels like, a Saturday Night Live spoof. It does not feel like a real show. Yvonne Orji being the host, I was like, okay. And I understand Netflix, girl, I know that you wanted to bring this show and make it more mainstream, and you know, so everybody could, you know, enjoy it and feel like it was balanced. You know, it's a mix of ethnicities, races, people, different cultures, whatever, and that's fine. But it's just the way that it was done. It is, y'all, it is so corny. And I'm like, y'all need to take this off. I'm sorry. Like, this is the remix, the rebrand. This is the TV show that nobody asked for and nobody needed. Give it back to YouTube. Some things are just better left in its original form. Give it back to YouTube. But y'all let me know if y'all had a chance to watch Pop the Balloon. And if you did, let me know what you thought about this very first episode. Baby, I don't know where is everybody, y'all? So it is Friday. It is 7:41, and when I tell you ain't nobody outside, nobody. Where is everybody? Girl, they had this thing today in Houston, and I procrastinated, and I drug my feet, and I waited until the last minute to try to go, and it was sold out, and it was called Skip Day Houston. Basically, it was just a skip day of where, like, all of the professionals, you know, it's like a day you call in, you don't go to work, and you go to this big event, and it was just like, you know, just a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure it was a lot of networking opportunities that were there. The men's was outside, and I really regret, like, not going. But then I started to think about, like, other than the fact that I procrastinated, I just started to think about the fact that I ain't gonna lie, girl, I be getting a little overwhelmed a little bit. You know what I'm saying? When it's too many people, and I haven't been around a big crowd or a big group of people. It's been a very, very long time or whatever. So yeah, but anyway, I wish that I would have at least gone. You know, it's one of those things where just go, and if you start feeling a little bit too overwhelmed, you can leave, but at least you put yourself out there. And that's what I've been trying to do a little bit more of that lately, like getting out of my comfort zone, because you know the magic does not happen in your comfort zone. That's not where the magic happens. And so I've been trying to do a little bit of stuff to, you know, get myself out of that comfort zone, you know, like just small steps like shopping on a different side of town and just stuff like that or whatever. But that's about it. I'm just like, where, like, where you know, is everyone? This is so, it's not normal in Houston for it to not be anybody outside. You know what I'm saying? Normally around this time, there's still, you know, some traffic, you know, and I don't know, girls. But anyway, I'm about to pull up to the house real quick. What they doing? Let me pull up real quick and then I'll give you guys a call back. I hope the lighting is okay. So we're about to have some cuddle with rock bedtime, girl time combos. So you guys know that I was down to TikTok and I was, you know, just looking at different content, and so I ran into a content creator, and she was saying that she just wished, you know, that Austin, you know, had more like safe spaces where Black women are appreciated. So I left a comment and I was like, come to Houston, there are men everywhere. When you are from Houston, it's just not a big deal to us. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're used to. But I'm going to be very honest, girls. And this is for all of my girls who are not native Houstonians and who don't know this, who are thinking about moving to the city, or you just moved here and you just don't know. Y'all, Houston is a freaking free for all if you are willing to go outside. That's the biggest secret. In Houston, you gotta be willing to go outside. You gotta be willing to go to the Sunday fun days. You gotta be willing to pull up on stuff on a Thursday or a Tuesday. So I was saying in the car that today we had a Houston skip day. That's where all the professionals called off of work and went to this big event. I drug my feet on it and I didn't go. I should have gone because it could have been some good networking opportunities. But I say all of that to say this. If you want to date in Houston, you can absolutely date. And it's a numbers game. The reason why it's a numbers game, because like, for example, if you get dolled up, put on a super cutie outfit, and you know, just make yourself look really cute on a Sunday, go to 5015, the whole Alameda Strip, guys. There's a whole neighborhood in Houston, and it's actually where I grew up in 3rd Ward. They have, I think it's Emancipation Street. They have Alameda. Like, y'all, all you have to do is show up. Seriously. When you go to 5015, as soon as you walk in, you meeting 10 men and you getting 5 drinks. Okay. So you walk across the street to Dreams. If it's still called Dreams, I don't know because I haven't been out in a while. You walk across the street to Dreams, 6 men, 4 drinks. Walk down the streets. You don't even have to go to the Oyster Hut. You can stand by the Oyster Hut. 4 men, 2 drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're being offered drinks everywhere. You're meeting guys everywhere. And if you go out at least twice a week, you probably gonna meet. You could probably go out one day in Houston and meet about 5 to 10 guys. The problem is by the end of the next week, so say on Sunday, you meet about 5 to 10 guys. By Friday, you probably would have been offered a couple of dates. You're going to be and got rid of some of them, or most of them, because number one, a few of them going to be married. That's just the unfortunate truth, guys. It's just, you know, it's just the name of the game here. There are a lot of married men here, and they just don't have a lot of integrity. You gonna know that they married because 1, they always gonna call you from the car, or 2, they're always gonna call you at certain times of the day. It's never gonna be at a decent time, and it's never gonna be from inside of their house. So you're gonna 86 them, get rid of them. They gonna get put in file 13. If you don't know what file 13 is, that's the trash, because that's where they belong. Okay, so we got rid of all the married men. So the next batch that you're probably gonna get rid of are the guys who always want you to send me a picture, send me the picture crew, send me a picture crew. Those are the guys that you're probably gonna get rid of next. Because why are you asking for pictures? You already asking for shit. You know what I'm saying? It's enough that you got my social media or my phone number, but you shouldn't be asking for pictures. So more than likely, it's gonna be the send me a picture or the good morning sexy guys. They're all in one category. So, you know, okay, so you got rid of them. So at this point, you should probably be down to about, so we say you met about 10. You should be down to about maybe 4 at this point. So
It's probably, at this point, we're just going to say it's Wednesday at 7 p.m. So Sunday, by 12 a.m., you had 10. You was driving home, you had met 10 men. By Wednesday, we got all the way down to only 4 because you threw the other 6 away. So now we're on to the guys who will probably pick up the phone and call. Some of them you just probably not going to mesh with. You just probably not, you guys are not going to have anything in common. You probably will lose interest. Okay. So by Thursday, you're down to 2. So you have 2 dates. At least 2 of these guys will ask you out on a date. All right. So you have 2 date options. Typically what happens is the last 2 standing are the ones that are a little bit more intentional, show a little bit more interest, but those are not typically the ones that you are as interested in. And so what happens is they're not necessarily bad looking guys or anything. They're just not the ones that you were necessarily interested in, but they're showing you more interest. You guys go on a date and then you might get overwhelmed. That does happen. Maybe they call too much. Maybe they text too much. And it's a little bit more than you bit off. And so we're now approaching Sunday. Okay. You done met 10 men on the previous Sunday. You done X'd out 6 of them. Then you let the other 2 go. You had 2. You went on a date on Friday and on Saturday. You got overwhelmed because they was calling too much, texting too much. It was just too much too soon. So then here comes Sunday. And then you do it all over again. Okay? Not to mention the happy hours and the other things that you might be partaking in during the week leading up to the dates. So there are plenty of guys here, girls. There are a lot of professional guys here. Like, if you are willing to go outside, seriously, if you are just willing to go outside, you will definitely have, you know, a bountiful and plentiful when it comes to the men. Y'all know I'm kind of like a homebody. I'm not really trying to, you know, go outside like that or whatever. That's not necessarily a particularly my thing or whatever. And then too, like, now, if you go outside with the intent of meeting men, you will. If you want to, you will do. Girl, y'all, not China coming to the front and telling all of the luxury business. So basically, you know that tariffs were imposed on China, which were pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I checked, they were 125% tariffs. So what China has decided to do is take over TikTok. Y'all know TikTok is a Chinese-owned app. But anyway, so they took over TikTok. And once they took over TikTok, they started telling the secrets. And basically, they're letting everybody know that luxury brands, 80% of luxury items are produced in China. After they do the production and the craftsmanship, they ship those items back to, you know, its intended place or whatever, which sometimes is Italy, for example. So once they ship it back to Italy, Italy will do some final finishing touches, which gives them the, of course, authorization to say that it was made in Italy, despite the fact that it was mostly made in China. They're also telling you all of the manufacturers that you can purchase things from, like New Balance tennis shoes, Gucci tennis shoes. They're basically letting you know that these tennis shoes only cost $15 to produce. And so all they do is produce the tennis shoes and then they put the label on. They're also letting you know that if you want to purchase these things, you can purchase them directly. And if you want to have a label added to them, you know, basically they're not talking about how to do that publicly, but they're just kind of letting you know that that's an option. But when people want to know about that option, they'll just be like, okay, well, DM me. So they don't want, you know, I guess they still want to be able to have a little bit of control as far as that's concerned. Also, what they've done is suggested that you stop shopping with companies like Alibaba and buy for them direct. In addition to that, they're giving out, you can have a 270-hour visa okay, let me correct myself. Basically, you do not need a visa, no longer need a visa to come to China, and you get 270 hours to go shop in these exclusive manufacturers or exclusive places or whatever. Initially, I think you only were given 72 hours, and if you wanted an extension, you had to put in for an extension. And so basically they're saying, well, come shop with us direct. If you can't go shop with them direct, they're giving wholesale, they're giving you the link to their wholesale websites. Girl, I cannot believe it. So y'all, all of this stuff that we've been paying, so much more money for, girl, a lot of that stuff is only $3. And so because it's only $3, they're selling it to you. Like, so say for example, you order something from China and it's $50. Girl, it's really only $3. But there's a middleman involved in all of that type of stuff. And so, yeah, they did a Uno reverse. Another thing that they're doing is showing how Birkin bags and all of these designer items are made. One lady, she came out and she talked about authorized and unauthorized. So for example, like with Chanel bags, the Chanel bags, you have basically an authorized edition and an unauthorized edition. The unauthorized edition is still a real Chanel bag. It just wasn't authorized by the inspector. So now, because and oh, by the way, an unauthorized bag is also where they take, somebody steals, like say for example, all of the Chanel branding. They'll steal that and they'll take it to another manufacturing place, and then that's where they sneak and they put all of the labels and stuff on the purses. And what makes it unauthorized is that it doesn't go through the same levels of inspection, but in terms of the same fabrics and stuff like that, it's pretty much the same thing. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna lie, baby. Understand that I was down to the comment section asking them if they could put us on with some of these perfume manufacturers. Like, I just want to know, like, where we can get certain things from. You know what I'm saying? They were saying that they produce about 80% of the goods and stuff that, we have in America. They produce that stuff in China. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but where is the perfume? I am over here fighting for my life, girl. I have been dragging my feet on doing this during sponsorship. Oh my God, I don't know where the spirit of procrastination is coming from, but I pray, I'm talking about play. I pray that it is lifted off of me. Before I call y'all back, one of you fabulous, gorgeous, beautiful bombshells asked me what type of concealer I use and what type of eyebrow pencil I use, guys. I use the Merit concealer for my eyebrows, and I use this, it's the color Caramel. And then y'all, I use a $3 eyebrow pencil, guys. This is from e.l.f. And so this is what I use. And then I try to go like really, really light-handed and then just slowly build, because I like my brows to be like really light up in here and dark as they progress going back. So I'm just gonna go in real quick and just try to lighten them up and make them look more soft and feminine. Okay, girl. I literally just sat up here and said I wasn't gonna talk your head off and look at me. But anyway, y'all, let me finish doing this and I'm gonna call y'all back.
Hey girls, I just finished the sponsorship. So what I did was I was like, let me just do a practice run or whatever. And I was like, I'm just not gonna put no pressure on myself. I'm gonna do a practice run. And once the microphone charges up, I'll just do, the whole video. Girl, please, I knocked that thing out in one shot. So we're gonna go with the practice run. That's just gonna be, because it just feels more natural. I'm trying to, have my sponsorships just feel more natural and they just kind of flow into the video and show most of my personality. A lot of times when I'm doing these sponsorships, it is my personality, but it's more of my, corporate kind of personality or whatever, which is not a problem, but professionally I can be a little bit stuffy, and I know that about myself, and so I try to loosen up, but you know, I be looking at it as like business. And so I'm just trying to get to the point where, you know, when I do it, I'm talking to you girls like I normally do. But anyway, y'all, why was I down to TikTok, baby? One thing about me, y'all notice I'm gonna be down to TikTok, girl. Why this lady made a video talking about put a finger down if you met a guy on a dating website and y'all was both going through a divorce, and what you decided, like, you know, that's what y'all used to bond or whatever. So he was telling you about his divorce woes, and your divorce was already done. Then she was like, with her divorce, she had already had she had already like completed her divorce, but he was going through the okay, let me try to get my facts straight. Her divorce was done before his. So she had completely finished with her divorce. She still had a retainer or money left on her retainer for her attorney. She then gives this guy the remaining retainer or whatever so he could finalize his divorce. His ex-wife starts, or the wife that he was divorcing, starts calling her and discussing her finances and stuff, because he done ran off and told the soon-to-be ex-wife all his lady business or whatever. So anyway, after that, she you know, was like, she didn't do anything because she just still wanted to be there for him and help him through his divorce. And then before she knew it, he had charged, because her retainer was connected to a credit card. He had basically ran up $30,000 worth of legal fees on her credit card. She said she never confronted him because she started to feel overwhelmed, so she just let it go. So eventually, the credit card bills and the debt got higher and higher. But at that time, her and that man was living together. They had kids. I think they had been together like for 5 years. He had his kids living in her house or whatever. So she just wanted to make a more comfortable environment or whatever. So basically, when everything was said and done and it was getting ready to finalize the divorce, he ended up owing the final $25,000 to his attorneys, and then came to her and asked her to pay it. And y'all know she did. And I'm just like, why would you pay for him to get a divorce? And then, girl, the fact that he's still laying up pillow talking with the damn ex-wife, like, why the ex-wife know about all your finances? But anyway, I was just like, I don't know, I was just amazed. And it just, I'm gonna be honest, like, I think that that's why being detached, like learning the skill of learning how to detach and learning how to like become indifferent will save you from so much stuff. And like being indifferent is like, you don't care about the outcome one way or the other. And it's just like, she went in, that was my thing with her, like she went into the thing helping, and she wasn't just helping with like little stuff. It's okay if you help with like little stuff, that's not a big deal, but she went in helping with high dollar stuff. You done came in this thing, girl, helping with a damn divorce. And that man, and then I don't even think her and that man ended up together. And I'm just like, golly. I say this over and over and over again, but it took me years to get to this point of like, y'all, I am so indifferent about things. I don't care about it one way or the other. I'm very detached, and I just don't care about the outcome. Like, if you, and what I mean by that is just like, I think that lady might have wanted that man to go ahead on and get that divorce, get the ball rolling. She didn't think it was going to take 5 years for all of that stuff to be finalized. The outcome that she was connected to was probably thinking like, oh, we'll get married. Like, at least, you know, I'm out of my marriage and I can jump into something else. Y'all, it's people out here that just don't want to be single. They've never been single. Like, they probably been in a relationship since they was in their teens, and they go from relationship to relationship to relationship or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong, I might be jumping to conclusions, but you know, the story left little context, and so I just have to draw from what I gathered. But I can't imagine a woman who is healed and secure within herself. I can't imagine a woman like that paying, you know, over $30,000 to help someone get out of his divorce. And so, man, y'all, learning how to detach, I'll say this 1,000 times, learning how to detach and learning how to be indifferent and not be so connected to the outcome, it is going to save you. And to be honest with you, as far as I'm concerned, the cheat code to all of that, of which what I said, is having a backup plan. You know, things at work, if there's something going on at work, the only way you're gonna not be so connected to the outcome is if you got something else going on. You got a backup plan. As far as just dating is tough, because you know, when the affairs of the heart get involved, it just gets tough. You know, like if you think about it, it gets tough, because it's like, how often, like, we're all the same age here, right? Down to the Bombshell Network. You know, we have a lot of bombshells in their 30s, 40s, 50s. But when you think about it, I'm just gonna go for the girls in their 40s and 50s, guys. How often do we meet guys that we like? It is rare. We don't really meet guys that we like often. So typically what happens is you start to like negotiate and bargain with yourself and do little, oh, I'm just gonna do this, I'm just gonna do that. But I think the way that you save yourself for that is, and I'm not saying be bitter, but I'm just saying think about the outcome, the things that have happened in your past when you've jumped in and tried to like help and do stuff like that or whatever. Just think about how those things ended up, you know. And then too, I just be like, would this person do this for me? I know it shouldn't be tit for tat, but would this person do this for me? And more than likely, someone that you just met, they're not gonna invest over $30,000 into your divorce. I would think, honestly, at best, they may be there, be an emotional support for you, but financially, just coming out the top, and y'all, that's just $30,000. That's not like, that's not all she spent. That was just like the starting cost or whatever. So anyway, if you didn't get nothing else out of this conversation, detach and be indifferent. Indifference and detachment. That's all you need to know. Y'all, let me try to feel like it, but let me edit a little bit of this sponsorship really quickly, and then I'll call y'all back. This is how you look like a fabulous, sexy goddess while you in the house. So y'all, this is just this cute little like romper. It's actually, it's long, it's too long for me, but anyway, it's not a romper, it's a jumper. A cute little jumper, girl. This is from Shein. This is when I used to do the hauls for Shein. Y'all remember. But anyway, so yeah, they sent me this, and then this gorgeous silk kimono. This is from a Bombshell. This was sent to me like when the apartment burnt down. You know, I had a lot of Bombshells sending me clothes, and this was part of what was sent to me. But y'all, this is so cute. This is how I like to look around the house. I just like to look pretty when I'm just, you know, around the house. And I just do this for myself or whatever, you know. I don't have no man coming over here or nothing like that. But, you know, it does help. You know, when you put yourself together, it just changes my mood or whatever. But y'all, this romper, it is a little bit, it's low cut in the back. Let me see, hold on. So it's sexy. I'm trying to hide my rolls, girl, but it's low cut in the back, and then, you know, you just got all of the cleavage and stuff out in the front. Super sexy. And then y'all, it gets so freaking cold in this apartment, so I put the kimono on or whatever. I feel so pretty. But anyway, girls, let me get this closet together. Let's go in here and get this closet together.
Do we build it up, just to let it wash away? Tell me, did I lace you up, just to watch you run away? Please help me. Who's getting on my love? Who's getting on my love? Tell me who's getting on my time? All of that used to be mine. Oh, who did you teach what I taught you? Better not give them my nickname. I don't like taking nobody. I swear that it's wearing me down. No, but tell me
Y'all, so I'm over here listening to this interview. When y'all get to work Monday, if you need something really good to watch, it's called Inmate Sleeps with Officer, Escapes Jail and Steals Thousands. And it's the Joe Baker story. The name of the YouTube channel is Matthew Cox. And y'all, this guy is an amazing storyteller. So the guy that's telling the story name is Joe Baker. I don't know who this guy is. Obviously, I'm just gonna assume maybe he got out of prison and reformed his life, but he started getting in trouble like at the age of 14, probably earlier. But anyway, y'all, so I've been looking at that. It's really good. It's super entertaining. But before we end the vlog, I just want to, just do like a little check-in with you guys as far as some of the topics that I tend to touch on. I know that I talk about dating and stuff like that a lot. And the reason why I talk about that type of stuff is because I know that there are a lot of young baby bombshells that watch me. And I know that we have, bombshells that may not necessarily be young, but may just not have a lot of experience dating, because maybe it's a lot of you ladies who've been married and gotten divorced and you're coming back on the dating scene. I say all of that to say, like, I try to be extremely careful with the things that I say on my channel, and I try not to ever come across as judgmental or anything like that. And the reason why I talk about dating and stuff is because I was never like a pick me or anything like that, but I was definitely a girl who just wanted to be loved. And I used to go over and above and out of my way to just make whoever I was dating happy or whatever, or even the guy that like if I was dating and it was a guy that I was interested in and thought that the relationship was gonna go somewhere, I would go above and beyond or whatever. And to be very honest with y'all, I didn't really I didn't change until I really started working on myself, and I lost 100 pounds, and the weight came off naturally. But before I lost weight, I knew in my heart like I would lose weight one day. I never knew how, but I just knew. But before I lost weight and stuff, guys, I used to be out here like like I said, going above and beyond and stuff, girl. I literally, y'all, I cried over a dude who only had an air mattress and one pair of jeans. And so I just don't ever want y'all to think like I know everything or that type of thing. I just talk about the things that I have been through, just trying to find love and trying to date and stuff. And it's just like the more healed I became, the more happy I became with myself. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all, with my appearance, the more that I became happy with my appearance and with with me healing, the less I wanted male validation. Like, girl, even before I lost weight, I used to always be like, oh, I just want to walk by a group of guys and I just want them to be like, damn, she fine. Like, that was like, I always just wanted that validation from guys to be like, oh, she fine or whatever. And it's one of those things that I talk about a lot. Like, be careful what you ask for, because there is no doubt that is going to happen. But what's also no doubt is, well, maybe it is, it just depends on the person. You got to be careful because you might not like that attention. It's like, that's all I ever wanted. It was like the attention, and then to get it. And it doesn't stop. You know what I'm saying? The attention you get, it's never going to stop once you get to a certain point. And it feels like the more healed you become, the more happy you become within, is like that happiness and the healing shows outwardly. So because it shows outwardly, when you walk into places, like, it's almost like you radiate, and so then you get even more attention. But you're not just getting attention from guys, you're getting attention from women and babies and everybody. And a lot of times it becomes too much, and so you just have to be careful to not just
like, I think it's like, what's the word? Idolize those things. You know what I'm saying? It becomes too much. But more importantly, when you start getting attention from guys because that's all you ever wanted, that becomes overwhelming, because you're not just attracting one caliber of guy, you're attracting everything, you know. And so I just want you, like, I never want y'all to be discouraged from dating. I do still believe in love, but I just think for me there are more important things that I would like to happen, you know, that for me supersedes me finding love. It's just so many more things that are so much more important to me, you know. Like, I just want to do so much more for my community and for my family, and those are the things those are the things that I'm consumed with, and those are the things that I would prefer to happen. I only create these vlogs. That's all I do. I create them, I edit them, I try to make them as entertaining as possible. And the downside of that is, because I am the creator, the producer, the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker, I don't know how I come across. But I just want you guys to know, like, I'm never gonna say anything to hurt you. I'm never gonna make you feel less than. I never want to come across as judgmental, and I never want to discourage y'all from dating. But what I do want you guys to do is just take pages out of my playbook. You know, like when I talked about not being, you know, too invested in things, you know, don't, you know, be so, you know, you have to be indifferent. And then you have to be willing to detach. You know, those are the things that I want for you guys to take away. And I'm talking about this because, you know, before I started blogging, I used to watch, you know, just different content and stuff like that. And, you know, sometimes I would watch, you know, content, and I would just walk away feeling really sad about myself, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, of course, the minute you start feeling sad about yourself, you don't watch that kind of content anymore. But you know, and so I was like, gosh, I never want people to walk away from my content feeling sad in regards of you feel like you've been judged, or you feel like you're not making the best choices, because here it is, you watching somebody that's, you know, seemingly doing everything right, because I did not do everything right, you know what I'm saying? Baby, I used to be down to the thing, girl, y'all. I used to be like, if I liked a dude if I liked a guy, girl, I would be trying to figure out what he liked to eat, what he liked to drink, what his favorite snacks was, you know what I'm saying? And then I would, you know, just like try to prepare those things or whatever. And so it never worked out for me. Those relationships, that stuff never ever worked out for me. And it's just sad, like anytime I would show that I was just this really nice, kind, sweetheart type of girl, which I am, that's genuinely who I am, but it never worked out. And it seems like I didn't start to get results, and you know, until I started being mean. You know, it's like I would be mean, or I wouldn't text back, and you know, it was like guys would text me and I wouldn't text back, and if I did, it would be hours and hours later. Now don't get me wrong, I wasn't playing a game. It would just be that I would be so consumed doing other stuff, and it just wasn't at the top of my list to be texting people back. But guys, when I started doing that, y'all, more like I would just attract guys that was super interested. It just seemed like the meaner I was, and the more disconnected and, you know, and indifferent I was, the better results that I was getting. But by the time that was happening, which that's still the case now, I'm still like that, you know, that's still the case now, whatever. But it just seems like the rare times I'll meet a guy and I'll give him my number, I'm not trying to play games and act like I'm busy, but you know, I have something that's more important to me than sitting up on the phone all day and texting all day, which is me trying to grow my brand and grow my YouTube channel and, you know, that type of thing. That's way more important to me. And it's almost like, I guess, like, guys can sense that, y'all. They can sense when you have things going on that you're passionate about and that feels more important than them, you know. But I don't want to be the mean mama that tells y'all not to date and tell you men bad, the men's is bad, girl. I don't want to be like that, because I don't believe that. I don't believe that guys are just these awful people. There are just awful people across the board, be it women, men, whatever. There are users across the board, women, men, and you know, all of that or whatever. But, you know, I just want y'all to be careful out here dating. And also, you know, another thing that I was never ever good at was just like, you know, dating more than one guy. And so I say, if you have the energy and you have the capacity and the memory, girl, because let's not talk about the memory. If you have the memory to do that, I'm gonna strongly encourage that you do that, because that's where I messed up, you know, just not knowing how to juggle, or either that, or you learn the art of being indifferent and detaching. That's it. That's it. And I mean, literally, if you learn how to detach and not be as like I keep saying, not be so connected to the outcome of things, you win. And I literally, y'all, I did not start winning in the game of the whole dating thing until I just became a damn a nonchalant ass thug. And it's sad. You shouldn't be like that. Like, y'all, I was a sweetheart. I was also one of those you know, daters. Like, if I met someone and I liked them and I was thinking about them, I did not care. I would text you and be like, I miss you, I want to see you. I was that type of girl, just a sweetheart. And it's just like, it's almost like the guys that I was attracting did not have that type of love and wasn't used to that type of love, or that type of a person being that kind of forthcoming. They was used to people playing games, and you know, it never panned out. But like, you know, all I knew was like love. Yeah, my mom, like the way that I grew up in a tough household or whatever, but my mom was always the type of mom that'll be like, I love you, I miss you, you look so pretty, oh my gosh, you're so smart. Oh, you know, my mom, and she's still like that to this day. And so that's how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't know like you have to go out in the world with an emotional armor on, and you can't be that open, because I'm still like that. If I see a girl that look pretty, I'm like, oh my God, you look so pretty, or you're so smart, or, you know, I'm still like that. But in the dating thing, it's just sad that you can't be like that. And I think that's another thing. Like, I just got tired. Like, I got so tired of feeling like, you know, it sucks that you meet people and you can't even tell them stuff like I miss you without them getting scared. And so again, going back to my original point, I just started to think about like, people love the way that they were loved. And if you were raised up in a household and your mom or your family didn't tell you that you were pretty and you were smart or handsome, or you were impactful, or, you know, like my mom used to always be like, you should be an attorney, and like she would just really speak life into me. So shit, that's all I knew. And so when I would meet people and I would see things in them and speak life into them, it's like they would get scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, that type of shit would scare them. And then that leads me to this point. A lot of times people sabotage things because they're scared. You know, you can meet someone and you can see so much in them. This has happened to me before. I've met people and I could see so much in them, but because they didn't see that thing in themselves, they would just sabotage it. Or even if I just be honest and sweep around my own front door, guys, before I lost all of this weight, I had met this guy, y'all. He was so attractive. He was like dark skinned, worked out. He was just like, he was into church. He was such a nice guy. He was kind of soft spoken or whatever, but that's okay. It's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, he was so nice, but he was really into like mental fitness, reading books and going to retreats. Like, he didn't just go to Tulum and do all of that type of stuff. He would, like, his vacation time was used for retreats. And y'all, he used to ride bikes. He used to be in the gym. And anyway, so I met him one day, girl, a long time ago before I lost weight, at Walmart. And so he would be calling me and stuff, and it's like, he would invite me out and just invite me to go do stuff. But I knew that his lifestyle was like super healthy. And y'all, I completely sabotaged it, because at the time I was so heavy, and I was like, why would this guy want me? Like, I'm fat. I don't, why he want me or whatever. And y'all, I sabotaged that, you know. And he wasn't like trying to like tell me how to eat or anything. He just genuinely liked me, you know, and he wasn't concerned about my weight. Well, because I didn't see anything in myself or whatever, I sabotaged it. And I was like, because he would invite me to different stuff, but he would also invite me to go on hikes and go walking and just different type of stuff like that or whatever. And then I would just be in my mind sabotaging it, like, he's trying to change me or whatever. And I remember him asking me, you know, like what type of, you know, vegetables and stuff I like. Yeah, he was asking me one time what kind of vegetables I like, and I was like, I like corn. I told him I like corn, and he was just like, okay. And then he was just like saying corn is really good, but like, you know, just giving me different tips, like maybe like, you know, do you like green vegetables? And at the time I hated vegetables. Like, before I lost weight, I hated green vegetables. And I was like, now or whatever. So then I started, and he was not like trying to manipulate my diet or anything, but he was just being a genuinely nice guy. So anyway, long story short, I just was like, he's trying to change me. He don't want me to eat the kind of stuff. And this man never said nothing like, don't eat this, don't eat that. He just made suggestions or whatever. So I messed that up really, really good. I sabotaged it. And we basically, you know, I think at some point he just got tired of like pursuing me, and you know, nothing was really coming out of it because I felt like I wasn't good enough for him. So yeah, that ended up not working out. But years later, I had ran into him, and you know, we struck up a conversation. And one thing that he never ever shared with me when he was trying to get to know me is the fact that like he had been really heavy before. So he never shared that with me when he was trying to pursue me or whatever. And so that's where he was coming from. Like, I guess he just didn't want to pile it all on, like, yeah, I'm trying to get you in the gym. But I think that he was really interested. But anyway, I ended up just sabotaging that whole thing because I was not ready to change. I did not think I was good enough, and so I sabotaged it. And that's the same thing that happens sometimes out, you know, just in the wild, if you will. You know, people, you'll see something good in them and you'll try to help them develop whatever it is, and then they'll sabotage it. So anyway, you just have to, you know, you just have to be careful. I think the takeaway from all of this is that, guys, self-preservation, it is the first law of men. And before we jump out here and start trying to offer up help and save everybody, save yourself. Save yourself. Focus on you. Work on healing. Do whatever you have to do that's going to make you feel better and feel like your highest self. And I guarantee you, like, when you get to that point, you will attract who you're supposed to attract. You will. This one, oh, this making me mad. This one roller, I'm gonna come back to this one, girl, because I'm about to get mad. But anyway, so yeah, you'll attract the person you're supposed to. But I just be feeling like I have to tell you guys, you know, that every now and again I have to come in and just let you guys know that,
You know, I never want you guys to think I'm telling y'all not to date, or, you know, I think I'm better than whatever. I'm just giving you the advice that I wish that I would have known many, many moons ago. So yeah, but let me finish with my hair, and when I finish rolling my hair, I'm gonna go ahead and edit this vlog so we can have it up in the morning. But anyway, girls, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Build it up just to let it wash away. Tell me, did I lace you up just to watch you run away?